Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We have to start. It's official. Tommy Boy has retired. And you know, in this town, when it's early February, the Patriots aren't going to the Super Bowl. We had to find some drama to get us through this shit. And the drama we found was he has a statement. He's kissed our ass for 20 years. He has a statement he releases yesterday, and he doesn't kiss our ass for that exact moment in time. And all hell breaks loose in Boston. I'm telling you, boys, that would not have happened in July, but you better not screw with us in February because we're not listening to it. Did that affect you at all, Tom Brady's statement?
Oh, and you notice he got wet to the back pages like he was a practice squad guy on every NFL site in the world, except for the NFL.com, of course, when Brian Flores news hit the fan. Tom was off the front page instantly.
Yeah, he sure was, Russ. He definitely, look, he had already had his announcement when it got leaked to the
3 days ago,
the world. This was just making it official.
It did affect me. Like your question was, did it affect me? I've heard for the last 2 days about how I shouldn't be pissed, and I'm still pissed because it's not about, he didn't need to kiss my ass. He just needed to put one line in there.
One line.
Say, hey, one line. New England, here, point to his Instagram post that he did when he left New England and said, I already wrote my love letter to you. I want to thank everybody who rooted for me, even over the last 2 years as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I love you guys. But really, this was, but this is about me retiring from Tampa. That's all he needed to do. And he didn't do it, and it was intentional.
Oh, this guy does it by accident. Nothing is by accident.
Nothing's by accident. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, I don't know about that. Look, I've read for many years.
God, you think
he's childish?
He's got a media team writing these things for him.
Look, it was intentional. No, but
he rejected.
No,
Jimmy's right. He had a media team writing it for him, and he rejected any form of thanking anyone.
Absolutely.
I don't believe that at all. Look he knows that his label, the TBT label, is most popular moving forward in what area? New England. This was why
Scotty, all right, so he either was ignorant or he effed up. You know what I'm saying? Like it was either intentional or it was ignorance. And I don't know what's worse, to be honest with you, because if I'm running a potentially multi-million-dollar, tens of millions of dollar brand, and I have communications people that bring that to me, that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. He clearly had the intern write it, and he didn't.
No, Scotty, you are.
He doesn't have interns right now.
Okay. I always ask the question to you and answer it. How did it benefit him by not adding New England in any way, shape?
That's the great mystery. That's the great mystery. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, maybe him and Bob Kraft had a spat the night before.
Unless he really had an axe to grind,
Whatever. Timmy, if he had an axe to grind with ownership and Bill Belichick, then don't mention the ownership for Bill Belichick and only mention the fans, most of whom were rooting for Tampa Bay to win the Super Bowl last year.
The Bucs were the Patriots to me the last couple of years. You know what I mean?
They're the clients moving forward. We are the clients.
So Scotty, then he lifted his back leg and he took a piss all over the clients moving forward. That's stupid.
It is stupid. I don't
understand. It was Scotty. Put out of your mind, it was by accident.
It was not by accident. This guy hasn't done anything by accident for 20 years, Scotty.
Come on.
Believe foolish, goofy tweet he puts out there, a little comedy.
Oh my God! Everything's
crafted. It's looked over by analysts. It's fine tuned.
It's pay millions of dollars to these guys to do things right.
He has a 9-part, 1 hour long documentary series out right now. These people are professionals. He knew exactly what he was doing.
But again, it doesn't benefit him. There was no reason to not include. I don't understand it. Look, all you guys, what you're saying is correct. Absolutely. then how does that come about?
I don't know. And Scotty, then I would ask you, did he do anything today? He has people monitoring social media. He has social media monitoring services. He knows exactly what has been going on up in this city for 2 days. He hasn't done anything about it. Not one thing. He wrote "Love you all" yesterday.
Has he put anything out? Didn't he send a little?
No, he wrote he responded to the Patriots Instagram post with "Love you all, can't express my gratitude." It was more of an FU than the exclusion of us in the original Instagram was an FU. Please.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with you guys now. You've turned me, but I will say this. I've been saying this for years. Two things. He's gonna make Tom Cruise look normal in 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. Yep.
And I still believe, until I'm wrong, that he has made a side deal with Bob Kraft for a Magic Johnson part ownership of the club.
Maybe. There's no evidence of that.
Bob helps him get a part of another club. Remember, he's one of the people that vote whether you can be an owner. And I think that is Tom's long-term goal.
Absolutely.
He's had 36 hours to rectify this. He's done nothing. Zero.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on up here.
So he's dead to us. He's dead to us.
No, I'm not. No, by the way, he's not dead to me. I'm just I'm completely shocked. Completely shocked.
It's
at the
a
ineptitude.
it's a real head scratcher.
This thing has been bungled. This thing has been bungled from the beginning. It was leaked on Saturday, which if you pick the worst day of the year to leak this news, it would be the Saturday before the conference championship game.
Right.
It'd be the worst day of the year.
Yeah.
Right? It gets
Like
leaked on
A-Rod
Saturday.
in his contract.
Right. It gets leaked on Saturday. He puts out he had 72 hours to write the perfect statement after it got leaked. Sends a statement out that is imperfect and then doesn't do anything for 36 hours when he knows everyone up in New England is all whipped up into a frenzy.
I know.
Not dead to me, but I'm just I'm stunned. I'm in communications 101, he broke almost every rule you could break.
He sure did. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we'll see whether he apologizes or how he acts moving forward. But
We'll see.
at the very least, it's very strange. But this will not be the strangest thing that comes out of the Tom Brady camp. Trust me. He'll be on a.
Is Tom Brady going to make a couple of South Park episodes in the next 10 years?
Just don't get into in a couch with Oprah, and I can only imagine he'll start jumping around. All right, the NFL.
No.
They've got
his pet name for his wife.
Yeah,
that's kind of odd, isn't it?
The NFL's got problems, fellas.
Oh
Brian Flores. I don't know what. Again, I don't know what the question is. How does it benefit you? I don't know how this lawsuit benefits Brian Flores. To be honest with you, if I was him, I would have done it in different ways. First of all, as a family of lawyers, and my parents were lawyers, you would approach the NFL and tell them what you have and see if you could settle without filing a lawsuit before going about what he did. The lawsuit, I looked at
that. Kneeling for the national anthem didn't hurt anyone either, and they did it.
So my take on this is Brian Flores is just a rock solid human being, maybe. And he's trying to help rectify a glaring injustice right now in society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's right. Scotty, you're right. The way, if you wanted to profit from this individually, you go to the NFL first and say, do exactly what you just said. And I don't think that was a priority for him. I think, honestly, I can only imagine the pain and how horrible that must have been to sit through that New York Giants interview when you knew that Brian Daboll got that job. And it was heartbreaking. And I'm sure it was all, so my answer to your question, it was all on emotion, Scotty. It was purely emotional that made him do what he did when he did it.
And he went through it before with the Denver thing. He saw they had no intentions of ever hiring him. They wouldn't even show up on time.
Well, how could they let him go on? This is like letting somebody go. It's like firing an employee who knows every dirty little secret in your company.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care. Right. You're absolutely right, Timmy. But I don't really care about the Denver interview, Joe, because he got a head coaching job. He ended up a head coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
He did a great job. he took a below average team and he had a 1 game over 500 career record, and then he gets fired. And we knew there was something stinky when he got fired. There was
why he got fired, because he didn't tank.
Right, exactly. And then we get to this point. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, you don't make this stuff up, approached Flores and said that he would pay him $100,000 for every game he lost in 2019, with the premise that the more games you lose, you're tanking, that with the hopes of getting the first round.
I got a question. Did Ross make his own money, or did he inherit it? Because that, to me, this does not smell of a guy who made his own money.
No one in the NFL made their own money. They're all a bunch of small.
I know, but
they married the money like Kraft,
who doesn't have enough sense to know when there's somebody who can throw a grenade into your organization and didn't have enough sense to handle his departure the correct way. I mean, that's not showing a lot of foresight.
But also smells like
put Saban in there.
But also smells like a guy. I tell you, it smells like a guy. When I first heard that, it smelled like a guy who has a gambling problem.
You mean Ross?
Yeah,
could be. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, you're basically fixing games. You're right. Like whether you're fixing games to get a high draft pick or make money betting or both. Right?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
it's gonna put the NFL under the microscope on so many levels. It's gonna change everything.
And that the NFL
is committing a criminal act. Just the offering. No one has to go through with it, but if you offer someone to fix a game like you did, it's automatic. It's a criminal offense.
Pete Rose is
Nothing has to be done about it. Just the offer alone is a criminal offense.
Well, Pete Rose went to jail, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not like Pete Rose. Not only he's banned from baseball, he spent time in the clink. Stephen, right? We talk about the integrity of the game and how it's going to be challenged moving forward with all the gambling and how they've embraced gambling. How can you? I know the genie's already out of the bottle, boys, but this doesn't look good moving forward when the owners are making such statements to their head coach.
No, and then Hugh Jackson came out today and said he had a similar offer from Haslam, that criminal who runs the Cleveland Browns.
I heard he's asked to join the suit too.
Yeah, I mean,
to be named on this as a plaintiff also.
It makes a sort of sickeningly logical sense that if you hire a coach that you paid that coach ostensibly to win football games, but you want him to lose, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to try to make it worth his while to lose.
Why would
right?
you hire the worst coach on the planet to coach a team?
I think teams have done that before too.
Yeah.
Celtics did that with ML Carr.
Yeah.
But the complaint, and it was like 58 pages, when that was completely dismissed by the NFL as just trash.
In 2 hours, as I said to you guys yesterday, it took them what, 9 months to investigate Deflategate, and it took them 2 hours to investigate institutional discrimination within the league.
It was baseless, right?
Just ridiculous.
But the complaint was actually read like a book. That was it wasn't your standard complaint. I mean, it started off with quotes from a text from Bill Belichick.
Yeah, it was written to provoke, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was written to provoke, and it did. And again, I just go back to your opening question. There's any number of ways that Flores could have gone about this to protect his own interests. He could have gotten
If I could invest in the top 10 law firms in the country right now, if they sold stock, I would invest in all of them because they're all.
Maybe they wrote it to provoke, so that guys like Hugh Jackson and Caldwell would join the suit and add,
top 10 law firms in the country are going to be. They must be licking their chops for the amount of litigation that is going to happen over the next 2 to 5 years involving this. It's going to be astronomical legal fees, and lawyers run amok.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the end game is the NFL always wins, just so you know. They always come out of it
We love our football, don't we?
with bigger TV.
Yeah, they could
contracts
be.
to
They
sell.
could be in trouble. They could be in trouble here, Scotty. If they get this past, if the NFL tries to stop the suit but that this suit is ruled to go forward and they get into a discovery phase, it's going to make this John Gruden discovery phase look like breaking sticks. Like there's going to be some stuff to come out, and it's going to be hard.
Hard
They
drive.
burn the stuff as we speak.
They're smashing computers as we speak. Right?
They
Yeah,
should.
absolutely.
Jim Irsay and Daniel Snyder and that sicko little Al Davis's son.
The shredding machines are working overtime.
Jim Irsay, when he put Curtis Painter as his quarterback there for a year to make sure that he got the next #1 draft pick.
Good luck, yeah.
Not for luck.
All right, so Bill Belichick, he's always in everything. For a guy who acts like he's not interested and, he lives this kind of life where all he's doing is staring at film all day. He's in everybody's muck.
Would
Now
you
he's
put it beyond him, Scotty, to have intentionally sent this text?
Accidentally on purpose, I
Well,
think.
first of all, Timmy, he's the head coach of the Patriots. He's the GM. He makes all the decisions. And yet he needs to get in all the Giants soap opera on a daily basis. It's bizarre. Why is he even talking to Giants people? Why is he part of the decision making on Brian Daboll and Brian Flores? And
My
then
guess
All these
is-
guys were just there, Joe Judge and all the guys that Joe Judge took with him.
My
were
guess
all
is
there
it
in the-
makes
in the building.
my guess is it makes the high school cafeteria look like a library. The amount of like catty
yeah,
gossiping that goes on behind
Yeah.
the scenes in the NFL. I can only imagine what it's like. I mean,
Yeah.
you just imagine the amount of back channeling that must be going on of information, because information is power in that league.
when I worked for the
boy,
Red Sox in '86 in the clubhouse, the visiting clubhouse, all it was like as the world turns, all the
Gossip.
players spent their whole time in the clubhouse gossiping about each other and
Yep.
players and managers and stuff. I
High
can't
school.
take it anymore.
Emails.
High
Yeah.
school,
It is high
junior
school.
high school. Yeah.
And and we give Bill Belichick a lot more credit from being the adult in the room than he is, because I don't even know why he's getting involved. But of course, he's an old fart, and he doesn't even look on who he's texting because of the name Brian.
I made that error twice this week. Okay. Sent text.
You're an old fart
Yeah,
too.
so Timmy signs up for the old fart award today.
I mean,
It
embarrassing.
doesn't help a division opponent, does it?
No.
Division opponents in real trouble now.
But
One
look,
that finished ahead of you 2 years in a row.
he's like a 100-year-old woman who wanted to tell the news to somebody before anyone else got it. What is he's first of all, good luck on the deposition, because he's probably the first guy they depose.
No, I mean this story has a little of everything in it. It's got discrimination. It's got gambling. Fixing games. It's got Bill Belichick, and it's got Tom Brady, because Brady was the quarterback that Stephen Ross wanted Flores to meet and tamper with down in Florida. You've got Brady and Belichick are in this story. How the hell are Brady and Belichick in this story? Brian Flores was hired by the Patriots, left the Patriots to take another job. The only team that actually within this agreement comes off relatively clean is the fact that Flores left a job he had with the Patriots. Another job. They had hired him, and somehow the Patriots are all over the story.
They're like Tony Soprano. He has to have a taste and a piece of everything.
Yeah. Zelig, that Woody Allen movie, Zelig. They're always there. Brady and Belichick.
All right, let's look into our crystal ball, boys. What happens?
I can't see the Dolphins owner Ross keeping this team. I mean,
Well, because he'd have to give up the team. You can't punish the fans like they've done to the Patriots. Punish the team and take away draft choices.
I don't think
That
there's
punishes the fans. You got to take away things from the owners for once.
Who was the guy the pedophile there that ended up getting killed in prison there? He got a sweetheart deal down in Florida. Is that Epstein?
Yeah, Epstein.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Committed
gonna be
suicide.
I don't think that's going to be allowed to happen anymore. I mean, there's just going to be too many eyeballs on this thing. It's going to come out. You know, they might as well all just come out clean right now because everything is going to come out eventually. Right now.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I think the Dolphins are going to be screwed, and probably the Giants will be screwed if it was the case that they had already chosen Dayball. That will come out, right? There's going to be some paper trail on that because they're not smart enough to cover themselves up on that.
Oh, that's been corroborated by Boomer knew about it. And reported it on WFAN.
Yeah, if the check wasn't on his 1099 on W-2, now we're getting into tax fraud, right?
Yeah.
Just yeah.
But you know, the Maras, who own the Giants, they try to act like they're a cut above the rest. Needless to say, if he's part of that, with John Mara, and I think he was, because if I remember correctly, he was interviewing Flores, so he was part of the ruse. He's going to want to eradicate himself really quickly from all this. I think a very large check to Brian Flores may be coming. Also, why not have Brian Flores be the defensive coordinator for the Patriots in 2000?
Well, yeah. Although Brian Flores in his claim posted screenshots of a text that Bill Belichick sent him. I don't know that Brian Flores is going to be on the Belichick's Christmas card list next year because he dragged him in.
Yeah.
Right.
He
deserves to get in.
He had no choice.
He does.
That, though.
Yeah, he had no choice. I'm not
What
blaming him, but I don't think Brian Flores is coming back to the Patriots.
Yeah, no, I know. Absolutely. And the irony was, we had talked about last week, if Flores didn't get a job, he'd be nice to do.
Would have been perfect.
He's going to be coaching a mid-major like a Southern Miss, Central Florida type, outside of the Power 5 conferences next year.
When Flores got let go, it just didn't make any sense to me.
Right.
It made zero sense. That was a good team. He had that team going in a very good direction. I was getting a little afraid of Miami, to tell you the truth, because a guy like Flores coaching, they were getting better and better and better, and I could have seen them rising up. And when they let him go, I was confused about it.
Yeah, they were all kicking their coverage. They were, doing a lot better. Like, remember they started that 0-7 and they were losing by historic margins, like 52-0 and stuff. And yet they had in the second half of that year, they had a winning record.
Yeah, and last game Dolphins played with Brian Flores as coach, he beat the Patriots in a game that the Patriots could have used. All right, boys, we go to the AFC and NFC championship games, and those were lots of fun.
So it took us just a quick note. It took us 25 minutes to get to the Super Bowl matchup in the AFC and NFC championship games that were epic. The last 2 weeks of football were epic.
The reason is this is such historic news.
Historic news between Brady and all the Boston stuff in this Flores thing. This is the headline. Right.
It's always about us. No matter what the story is, it's always about Boston fans, how we're affected.
This is Pete Rose times a million.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it because we know Ross, now all of a sudden Haslam. Yeah. We know Daniel Snyder, Thursday, Allen. We know all the owners are just low. Jerry Jones, all of them make you sick.
Look. Goodell burned
like crazy with the other owners.
Goodell burned the tapes, burned the Spygate tapes. He burned them. He had them destroyed to protect Kraft. I mean, that's all you need to know.
So this is great that a criminal enterprise now is diving into gambling. Nothing could go wrong.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing.
What could possibly go wrong?
USA gets a little behind on the Bills. What could go wrong?
Nothing smells more that the NFL and the owners in that league is in financial trouble. And I know they got these big contracts, Timmy. I understand. But gambling's always the last resort. That's the last thing you do before things completely go south.
Stop buying those Mega Million tickets.
Places like Detroit.
$20 you bet it.
At one point, my career goal was to win the lottery.
Yeah, that's always gambling.
That was the retirement fund.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say
like gambling is the biggest. It's biggest in the poorest neighborhoods. It's the last way out.
financially, I'm going to bet that the NFL is a paper tiger. That's all I'm saying right now. We'll see moving forward because you go down the gambling road, and that's a dark road, and you're never coming back. All right, boys. We thought people across the country, except for us, thought that Kansas City was a dynasty. They've won one Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, and the only reason they won it is because Jimmy G couldn't complete one pass to Emmanuel Sanders. That game is over. Patrick Mahomes is a nice quarterback, but I would say that he draws outside the lines too much.
Yeah, I mean, and he got tight in the second half. I mean, everyone makes the analogy between Patrick Mahomes and Steph Curry, right? Because Steph's got that same personality, but boy, on the biggest stage, Steph constantly delivers, and Mahomes, he pooped himself the other night. I mean, that was horrible. That was a bad performance in the second half at home against them.
Well, I think a lot of it's that Andy Reid. Andy Reid has lost, 8 or 9 conference championship games now for no reason. I think he's been all year. He hasn't let Mahomes out of the pocket and let him run. He said, I think Mac had more rushing yards than Mahomes.
Should we give a little?
Mahomes should have been running in that game. It was wide open for him. They would have gotten first down after first down, and yet he stayed behind the line of scrimmage.
Should we give a little more credit to Cincinnati on this than?
Oh, absolutely. I gave a ton of credit to Cincinnati. Yeah, no, look, you give a ton of credit to Cincinnati, but they were up 20-3. And then Mahomes, then they got greedy, and Mahomes. Yeah, I mean, Timmy, you said it. They got greedy. Mahomes, that was a mortal sin. He apparently waved off the field goal.
He did.
Reed wanted a kick. Mahomes did and said, "I got this," and then he throws a friggin' screen pass, a bubble screen.
With no timeout, they would have had a field goal.
He refused to do it.
Just
he
stupid.
just thought and you knew, because it always does, that 3 points were going to come back and haunt them.
You know, when they were on the 9-yard line near the end there, I would have bet every penny that I had that Kansas.
Totally, Timmy.
I mean, it just seemed,
every penny.
We've seen Mahomes do it, against Buffalo with 13 seconds left. I couldn't believe that they didn't score. It was shocking.
Scotty, I think the odds when that drive started, they were minus 120. And they were down. They were losing the game, and they were minus 120. Everybody thought they were going to score because that's what they always do. They scored with 13 seconds left the week before.
We had to go the way through the field.
Against the Patriots a few years ago, he did. He brought them down, and with no time left, and did it then.
But look, we learned from the Seattle Patriots Super Bowl. When you get that many big guys in that small little area of the red zone, those are tough corners. Those are tough areas. You have to still be fine, or bad things are going to happen. So there's no guarantee for any of that stuff.
No, yeah. And what's interesting with Mahomes, and this, in just taking it back to Brady, it just makes everything that he did all the more remarkable. That Rodgers has won Super Bowl. Manning won 2, but the second one he didn't win. He was a net negative from that second one. Marino had none. Mahomes, who looked like 2 years ago he was going to win 5 Super Bowls, he's now won 1, and he's been knocked out of 3 conference championship games in the last. It's been knocked out the last 4 years.
And more importantly, moving forward for the Kansas City Chiefs, the guy's getting paid $50 million a year.
Yeah.
So he's clearly going to affect a huge amount of
salary. Yeah.
They get, handicapped because of his huge hit. So, I'm not putting them in any more Super Bowls until Mahomes can prove that he's a clutch guy, because he hasn't proved it yet.
Well, Scotty,
no.
you bring up the money part. That was one of the reasons the Patriots hung around so long. Brady took the hometown discount for many years.
Yeah.
Which, helped them get some great defensive players in here and other.
Hey, Joe.
Contract is very cap friendly.
Joe, did you say that Andy Reid has lost 8 of 9?
8 or 9.
8 or 9. Okay, yeah. I mean,
remember he lost. He went
Yeah.
6 years in a row with Philly.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
used to lose every year, right?
yeah,
But then he went with the 1 year and the Patriots beat him in the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Donovan
yeah.
McNabb throwing up in the huddle.
Well, we always
Yeah.
felt like Belichick had the advantage over Andy Reid, right?
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, Andy Reid's probably the second or third best coach in the NFL, right?
Yeah,
But
right.
the worst time management guy in the world. He's always been terrible. The last 2 minutes of a half and last 2 minutes of a game. He's always been horrible. Ask anyone in Philly.
I will tell you one thing: we sure missed Joe Tooney. That was a nice pickup by them.
He saved Dave Bacon at one point there when he got that fumble.
He's
Oh,
such a solid guy. Yeah, I don't. They should have begged, borrowed, and steal to try to get him back on the Patriots. You always want guys like that. That's for sure. All right, the 49ers and the Rams. First of all, as a person who's lived in LA for over a period of 3 decades, no one gives a rat's ass about the Los Angeles Rams in Los Angeles. No one. Zero.
Scotty, they were doing a silent count at home in the NFC Championship game because there were so many San Francisco fans in the audience.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Silent count.
Ticket agencies before the game figured that at least 65 to 70% were going to be San Fran fans in that stadium that day.
You could get 100. You could be on the street in LA. We'll be right next to the Staples Center, and 100 people go by, and you go, "Who's the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams?" I would say lucky if 5 people out of 100.
how is LA immune from NFL mania, which the entire rest of the country seems to be under the spell of the NFL? How is
There's not a great tradition, Timmy, right? Like the tradition of it is they had the Rams left. They had the Raiders left. They get the Chargers and the Rams back. There's no tradition of they've been like not even an AFL.
Originally there for like 50 years. The Rams were there for like 50 years, and it was a stadium problem. St. Louis promised to build them a stadium and everything. That's what lured them away. That, remember, they killed supposedly Kara Rosenblum got killed there while he was swimming.
Yeah, right. They drowned.
The skin divers dragged him under.
the old lady, Georgia Frontier. She was very emotional about her husband's death.
That's how she moved him to St. Louis. She killed him while he was swimming.
Can we just say allegedly? Can we at least put allegedly?
Damn it. You and your alleged.
Even PBS made documentaries about that.
I don't need someone coming after me because Joe's trafficking and conspiracy theories again.
All right, Joe, before we skip that, anything on Natalie Wood? You want to just give us some?
Throw it on the internet.
The only kind of wood that doesn't float.
Oh my God!
At a certain age to get that joke, right?
I know. I just did it for you guys' consumption. All right, boys. Look, Jimmy G's a backup quarterback. You know I love him, but he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. But somehow he ends up in like championship games.
It's surrounded by good
managers like Bill Belichick wants.
Well, I'll tell you, that San Fran's a solid team, boy. That's a solid team. You put, an above average quarterback on that team, and they're in the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, Shanahan's a good coach.
Well, I don't know about that. Shanahan has authored some of the worst fourth quarter collapses in playoff.
I know he has, but no. I mean, he obviously collapsed in the great game, and he worked out very well for us. But overall, he's a good coach. I mean, the team does come to play.
His record is, I think, under 500 in the NFL. I mean, look, I get your point.
He's well under 500. He's well over 500.
I saw a little note there. Deebo Samuels. Do you guys know how he got his name, Deebo?
Oh.
Did you ever see that movie Friday? It's a classic comedy. There's a big.
Wait. Talk amongst yourselves.
There's a big, mean, tough guy who steals money. Who shakes down every kid in the neighborhood for money. And he's so tough. And Deebo Samuels was so tough when he was a little kid that they nicknamed him Deebo.
Well, he's a tremendous football player, and he plays with such a love of the game.
He's strong. You're gonna
He
tackle
really
him.
loves playing.
You want to tackle him, you're gonna feel it.
Never seen never that I can remember, Joe, a wide receiver like that. Like he seems singular. I don't remember ever a wide receiver who plays the game like he does.
The irony, Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, but he's a tight end. I mean, you expect a tight end to be that physical.
No, but as far as being able to go in the backfield.
Sure, yeah, no, but no, like a full-blown wide receiver.
Yeah, they usually don't like contacts. If they can avoid it, they do.
Look, he runs like a running back.
Yeah, he doesn't run out of bounds.
Well, speaking of wide receivers, you see the Cincinnati Bengals with Chase and Higgins,
yeah.
Not only do we need fast guys, we need guys who are long. They're tall. They're tall and fast. They're the future of the NFL.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase is something else. He's not going to be the rookie of the year for nothing. He's already one of the better, probably top 5 receivers in the league, and he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Well, Cincinnati and LA Rams weren't exactly going to stir the pot too much in this country. I would imagine they were going to have low ratings. Now with all this news coming out, the Brady retirement and then the Flores, this takes them off the front page if they were ever going to be there in the first place.
Yeah, as I said yesterday, if I was an NBA general manager and I wanted to make a really controversial trade that was going to piss off my fan base, I would have made it yesterday or today.
How do you figure the greatest player of all time retires and he gets
not even the top story? Not even the top story. The Super Bowl isn't even the top. The Super Bowl is like the 4th story right now.
And to show you how much ESPN hates Tom Brady and the Patriots, within an hour that Tom Brady announced that, the headline in ESPN was some quarterback went from Oklahoma to USC. He transferred. That was the headline. And in small print, Tom Brady retires.
Yeah. Well, the leak on Saturday didn't help. That was really fouled. Really fouled up. Look, I think by the way, I think it actually could be a good game. Like, I don't think either of these teams are super teams. Like, you're going to have
there's a nice money line to pick Cincinnati.
What is it, Timmy?
I heard today, I could be correct. My information is not always accurate, guys.
Really?
100 to win 160.
Oh, interesting.
I think I could have got better.
Wait, what was that?
They're plus 160.
Who? The Bengals?
The Bengals.
I think it was plus 180 down in Rhode Island yesterday.
Yeah.
I would take that.
That's pretty good bet.
Absolutely. I feel like it's an even game.
I feel the same way. I mean, they just knocked off who we all thought was the Super Bowl favorite.
But the one thing I caution you about, Cincinnati's been playing perfectly. They're not making mistakes right now.
Yeah.
And they were mistake-prone team. They're due to have one of those.
I totally agree, Joe.
Games.
And as we all know, a lot of these games are won in the trenches. Cincinnati gave up 9 sacks 2 games ago, and they have to deal with Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the Super Bowl. Like, I worry that Cincinnati is just going to get pounded in the trenches, and they're not going to get lucky.
LA's D-line is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald made Tom Brady retire. Aaron Donald made Tom Brady retire. He's like, I'm not. This guy wants to kill me. I'm not doing.
I can't do this anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm way too old.
They did a good job. Tony and the center there, Andrews, did a good job on him during the Super Bowl a few years back.
Great job.
They had a great scheme for him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're not going to do the predictions this week, but if you had to predict right now, who's going to win the game, Timmy?
I was all for Cincinnati until Russell just kind of pointed out how they've been playing mistake-free, and they're due for some mistakes. So, and then we mentioned LA's defensive line. That could be the difference maker.
All right. So
I guess I got to go with the Rams right now.
You're leaning right now to the Rams, Rusty boy.
Rams right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Joe.
Right in the middle. I took the points for Cincinnati 4.5, and then I got the Rams the money line, hoping for a middle.
This D-line reminds me of the Giants D-line a little bit.
Yep. That's right, Timmy. Yeah. They can get
those kind of lines. You see those lines win
Right.
Super Bowls, Sorry.
They can
Russ.
get pressure with 4 guys, and if they get pressure with 4 guys and drop 7 back, the Bengals are going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, it's going to be embarrassing.
3 and drop 8, then Burrow really have no place to go.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be embarrassing because there will be more fans in that stadium, their home stadium, of the Cincinnati Bengals than the Rams. I would bet that.
No one from Cincinnati. You see the prices? No one from Cincinnati can afford.
Oh no, there's a lot. Trust me.
Kentucky and Cincinnati is Kentucky.
You got plenty of transplants for living in LA, Cincinnati.
Let me tell you what used to kill me. I went to a lot of these Super Bowls. This is their one and only time. So if you live in Ohio, you're saying, we've never been there before. I remember.
Well, they've been there before. They have been there.
The first World Series. I said, I can drop $4,000 for tickets because we've never been there before. But like by the 5th time, you're like, the Patriots they made me broke all these championships they went to, all the games I had to pay for.
So I know they went to one with Kenny Anderson and Collinsworth, which they should have won against the 49ers. Is that the only one they went to?
No, they went to 2. They lost. Kenny Anderson was the quarterback in 79, 80
against Montana, right?
Montana, yeah.
They went to a second one.
Who was the
then they had Boomer Esiason quarterback them to a second one. It was the 1988 season, 1989.
They had a big running back that year too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Icky Woods.
Icky Woods. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, they still do it to this day. All right, boys, we're going to.
Remember.
We have to go to baseball, and you're hearing signs that they could come to an agreement.
No.
Can you just stay in a room? How do you negotiate and then don't come back for 10 days? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, do these guys want to make this happen, or they want to delay the season?
No sense of urgency at all on either part. The players don't want to go to spring training, and the owners don't want to have small crowds in April.
Whoever it seems like they care less usually wins, right?
How do you guys think, Russ? How do you think this plays out?
I'm with Joe. I don't think there's any urgency. I think both sides wouldn't mind if April disappeared off the calendar, maybe part of May, and they'll probably get down to it in March or April and shoot for a May 15th, June 1st start. I mean, this sport.
How does that benefit them? How does it benefit them to lose that?
Scotty, the question you keep asking, it's the theme of tonight. Why does it benefit Brady? Why does it benefit Brian Flores? How does this benefit the NFL? These people are not that bright. They don't know how to. They can't get out of their own way to let the success happen to them. And baseball's been doing. How many years have we been doing the show? And how many obvious things have we suggested that baseball do to fix itself?
Yeah.
And how every single year baseball now has seeded November and December. The hot stove league is gone.
Yeah.
Even in the best of times, that's suicide. And they keep doing it over and over again.
They stripped the minor leagues across the country. How do you do that? This was the center of a lot of these little towns and cities, these minor league teams. You developed your players, and for a little pittance of money compared to what they make, they got rid of most of them.
Yep.
They're downright evil. The
How about
owner.
this? They made the Cod League teams change names.
What's that?
They made the Cape Cod League team their names a few years ago.
I know it's
unbelievable stuff,
Yeah, that's just the way they are, and this is screwing with all of us. And NFL owners, Major League Baseball owners, NBA owners. There's a theme here. They're all assholes.
Billionaires who are used to getting their way. They have a bunch. They're surrounded by kiss ass who just tell them they're wonderful and they're great.
Yeah.
And whatever pops into their mind, they think is correct. And I don't want to say like Hitler, but Hitler just thought everything he wanted, he was just going to will it into existence. That's what these guys remind me of.
I think that the one league that has made progress, I don't think it's perfect by any stretch. I think the NBA owners are are more enlightened than the owners of these other and the owners in these other sports. I really do. I'm not. There's just plenty of bad ones. And
Russell, is it newer money that owns these NBA teams? I mean,
it's a great question, Timmy.
Yeah.
I bet you it has something to do with newer money. I mean, Wick Grossbeck has owned the team for what, 15 years, 20 years? That's new money.
Yeah.
Right?
The NFL originally wouldn't let Paul Allen in. They wouldn't let Mark Cuban in. They didn't want the new money.
So you've got people like Cuban comes in, and I give that guy, like, he turned me off at the beginning. I've gone 180. Like, I think Cuban's fantastic.
Yeah.
He has big ideas. He speaks his mind, and he puts his money where his mouth is. And I think there are a lot of NBA owners in that category of they're smart and they put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, that's a great
more in
point.
touch with
Major League Baseball wouldn't let him in either.
Right.
That's why he's an NBA.
What was that, Timmy? You said they're more in touch with their.
They're more in touch with society these days.
I think so.
And they're more intimate with their players. It seems like these owners have a better relationship.
And the NBA does things like, look, I think the best users pound for pound of Twitter in the world are NBA players. They just get it. And I know for a fact that the NBA spends a lot of money training NBA players on how to use social media. Very smart.
And nobody covers up the NBA players' indiscretions better than the NBA.
Nobody.
I mean, when's the last time we heard of an arrest of an NBA player? So you're telling me
Nobody.
they used to get arrested on an hourly basis?
I think they will. Look, here's the deal. They only got 15 guys per team, right? You're 70 guys on an NFL team. I also know that, like, again, I know for a fact that they do a lot of, like, there's a phone number you can call if you're an NBA player and someone comes and picks you up.
Every NBA team has a Ray Donovan on the payroll.
But no player will ever call that number, especially unless you're a star, because then you're probably going to get traded or cut because you're a drunk or whatever. So they won't. Just like the NFL, none of the players will call that.
But they don't. But to Scotty's point, what's the last NBA player really got himself jammed up?
Yeah,
really jammed up in a way that you don't see it.
They control everything. I think you're right, Russ. There's a big red phone they all have in their cell phone. They press a big red button, and all of a sudden, 4 sedans pull up.
No, it's like Men in Black. Men in Black, and they do that thing, right?
Ray Donovan. They all have a Ray Donovan.
Yep. There's no
question. The lady in question here. Will this make it better?
Yeah. Yep. And they never pay for any Ubers. All you got to do is press a button.
Who's the guy from Pulp Fiction there? He drives.
Yeah, the cleaner, Harvey Keitel.
Keitel.
Look at the shit that just went down in the LA Raiders just during the season. You had Riggs, the wide receiver, killing a woman. You had Gruden. You had some other incident. I mean, that's just one team.
And today makes it all look like a tiny pimple.
Oh my God. I think probably, just to get back to the NFL, Mark Allen, that's his name, right? The owner. He probably scares, what he does is probably the scariest thing of all time. They will pay many millions to cover up whatever shit is going down.
Do you think the phone lines as we speak between these NFL owners are burning up right now?
Yes,
to Goodell.
They have.
NFL is going to have an office in LA. I mean, in Vegas, just for cover up.
Every NFL owner right now is getting legal guidance.
Timmy, it's even worse than that. There are 5 teams that haven't hired a coach. Do you think any team in the next week and a half is going to hire a white coach?
Oh, hey,
imagine being Houston or any of these teams that have not hired.
I'm not even talking about from the discrimination thing. I'm talking about from the game fixing aspect.
Yeah,
which to me is even bigger than the discrimination thing.
Well, this is going to be great because we can get rid of Gerard Mayo and get 2 third-round picks.
Oh, Gerard Mayo's going to be coach. He's going to be a coach.
This is perfect because Gerard Mayo doesn't deserve to be a head coach of the NFL right now.
That was the worst linebacking
I know
I've ever seen in my life this year.
Does Vegas give odds on coaches getting hired? Because I'd like to make a bet.
Yes,
Right
they do.
Those odds have changed significantly over the last 48 hours, don't you think?
Yeah,
How
that's
about Houston wanted to hire Josh McCown, who was a quarterback a year and a half ago, never coached a damn day in his life, and they were going to hire him.
And he's the whitest. He's the whitest man alive. He's a shade of white you couldn't even go get in Sherman-Williams. Yeah,
Nope.
He's not getting any job. No, he's not. All right, we go to the Celtics, who are were 27-25 because they won 2 games, and we know what's going to happen the next 2 games because that's what 500 teams do.
Well, they got a tough schedule coming up.
And now they're going to lose 2 games, and they'll always be at 500. So I don't know why Celtics fans get excited when they win a game.
How they win? They look spectacular when they win.
Oh, yeah. I gotta say, I gotta give credit. I've been a Marcus Smart denier, but since
he's been very good.
Point guard, he's been, and they told him he has to be the point guard. He can't shoot. Things have gone very well for Marcus.
Yeah.
Do we give the coach the credit for that? If someone finally got through to him?
And the coach took him aside and said, "You're the point guard, and that's all you are."
Wait, is the trading line ended yet?
That's cute. No, it hasn't. That's all cute and dandy. I hope that increases his trade value. Get him out of here.
Right after the trade deadline, those 3-pointers are going back up.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. That's ridiculous. We know what Marcus Smart is. He's not changing his stripes.
He's looked awful good these last the plus minus for the NBA. The top 5. He was in the top 5, and he didn't even play half the.
If we're being honest here, because we've been honest on this team for the last several weeks, he's played significantly better. The other night he was actually shooting it well, and I thought, oh God, because we've seen that over and over again. When he gets hot early, he takes 15 shots. He took 9 shots and he shot it well.
The worst thing that can happen if you steal something is you get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you guys believe that he has had his come to Jesus, to Udoka moment.
I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that. And I think but it creates a problem for Brad in that there's only 5 games before the trade deadline, right? And he does not have enough. If you said to me, if Marcus Smart plays another 15 games like this, would I believe? I would believe. But I'm not going to believe if he only plays 3 more games like this. Right. And that's what Brad has to make a bet right now. He does.
Well, I would hope that Brad has already made his decision and would not be swayed by anything that happened in a few games. If he's trying to shop Marcus Smart, he should do it.
Marcus is coached for the last 5 years. He knows what's going on.
He knows Marcus, right?
Yeah, it's time for Marcus to go, guys. You can't, and again, because he's played so well, that really does help his value.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's happened is that Ime, he's finally gotten the memo that you can't play Schroeder and Smart together. I mean, and you can't especially play Schroeder and Smart together with Robert Williams and the 2 Jays, because then you have 3 bad shooters around the Jays, which is insane.
Schroeder used to be a good shooter.
He has fallen off the cliff.
That little pull-up jumper is fine, but
I'm done with him. You cannot get him out of town fast enough.
Yeah, they're going to trade him for a 2nd-round pick. That's all.
I hope so. Just get him out. Yeah, anything.
You might be able to get more than just a 2nd-round pick because of a team like Chicago, Wall and the other guy are both down for an extended period of time now. Chicago, first place, and got aspirations. They need a guy. Schroeder would fit the bill perfectly for them. They might give up something.
Oh my God! If they overpaid and gave us a 1st-round pick, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, they'll probably give you a player.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Daniel Tice. Right? Do they still have Tice?
Yeah. No.
I don't know, but I'd love Tice back.
He's in
Houston. And put Tice in there.
I know. I have to hear Daniel Tice is coming back and Jeff Green's coming back. Where's Kelly Olynyk when you need him most?
Is Tice
Kelly Olynyk rumors the other day too?
Don't say that too loud, Scotty.
Where's he play?
I think Chicago now.
No. He's in Detroit.
Okay, he was up there.
You know, I don't hate Tice. I kind of like Tice.
I like Tice.
That was a bizarre move by Danny Ainge when he got rid of him at the break.
Well, that was to get under the tax.
That,
Simple as
well,
that.
I can't even. I don't even want to think of the moves.
Give up on the season just so you can save the owner a few bucks. Hey, that's his job. Make money.
If Tice was 2 inches taller, he'd really be something, I think. But he's just that little undersized.
Yeah, he's a tweener.
Let's get called for the fouls as much anymore. That was his. When he was new, that was his biggest problem.
Remember that poor guy? He'd sneeze and he'd get a foul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The refs love to tag him with fouls.
He wouldn't
be in the same area code and get a foul.
So Steve Bulpett, who for a long time was one of the Herald scribes for the Celtics, he got fired, and he came out. I guess he works for some internet page, and he came out in the last few days and said Jaylen Brown may want out of the Celtics in the offseason.
Well, he didn't. It was interesting because the headlines didn't actually reflect the article. It basically said, if this thing doesn't turn around this year, you could imagine Jaylen Brown this summer or next trade deadline signaling like he wants out, which, by the way, that makes sense to me.
Right.
That makes sense to me. Like, I would hope, like, if I were Jaylen Brown and if this thing weren't fixed by a year from now, I'd be like, I got to get out of here. I got to win a championship.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So that's a great question to pose. Is this a short-term fix or a long-term fix?
Well, I've always said that these guys are at their most valuable, like basically 18 months before their contract is up, and that's a year from today. So a year from today, Brown will have a year and a half left on his contract. And, if you haven't figured out that how to get these two guys to play together, you're better off trading Jaylen Brown a year from today.
Wow. You better get a lot.
You are. Yeah, but you will.
Another big guy. I think more and more the NBA is going back to the style of the 60s and 70s. All the most valuable players now are centers, just like back in the old days. Jokic, Embiid, Gobert, all the big, what people consider the most valuable players in the league are all centers now. Go back to the old days, the centers, point guard, and 3 wings.
All right, boys.
Power forward.
We wrap it up with the Boston Bruins. When's the trading deadline? It's coming up soon. What's Sweeney's biggest need to bolster the team?
I would say a real top 3 defenseman.
Yeah.
Wow.
About 3 or 4. Someone who could be on that second pairing.
Yeah.
I do top 3 defensemen get traded at deadlines?
No, unless unless there's some real good prospects that the guy's coming to an end of a contract.
Yeah,
you get some good prospects you can give up for them. That's a big decision if you think this team is that close to being there, which I don't think there's anyone head and shoulders above anybody right now. I mean, the playoffs could fall kind of any way, but I don't see the Bruins doing it with the defensive core currently that they currently have.
When they have a bad game defensively, they had really bad games defensively. Talking, the wheels fall off. Yeah, the wheels fall off.
The trade deadline is not until March 21st, too.
Oh, all right. So they have time. I heard a rumor this week Chara may come back.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Chara.
He'd be an improvement.
Kill some penalties and hopefully maybe beat up a couple of people.
My sources tell me Ally Frady's on his way back.
Yep. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he got a knee replacement. He's ready to go. The planet.
I think we need a little. We need a. I keep saying we need one tough guy on this team. One guy who can throw a little fear into somebody when things start.
I like the way they came to Bacchanali's defense last night. They came right to his defense last night after he got whacked there. And it should have been a 5-minute major.
Anyone threw a punch, all the Bruins would have fallen down.
Well, boys, that's our show tonight. Geez, that was animated. That was a great show, boys. We covered it all. That's for
It was a lot
sure.
of fun. Yep.
Topic today. Want to thank everyone behind the scenes. Want to thank Andrew. It was good to see Andrew today. Want to thank, of course, the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. That was fun, boys. Wow.
That was fun, guys. There's lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Lots
My leg
to
is
talk about.
cramped up so bad.
Discovery's
Is
going to be
that
so.
what you did?
Discovery's going to